stories. The Gauteng Transport authorities are meeting in Soweto this afternoon following clashes that broke out between eHailing service operators and taxi drivers at Maponya Mall. 2 cars were set alight while some eHailing drivers were assaulted last night. The motive for their attacks is still unknown, but tensions have been running high between the 2 transport operators. Let's bring in Lesiba Mpya, who is the Gauteng Transport Spokesperson. Lesiba, thank you for making time for us. What do you understand to have taken place at Maponya Mall yesterday?
Thank you very much, Clement, and good afternoon to yourself and the listeners. So the information that we have at our disposal is based on allegations, and at this present moment we cannot conclusively say who perpetrated this barbaric act. Safe to say that the department has put boots on the ground to ensure that our residents and our passengers, as they return home, they are definitely safe, and also we have put preliminary investigations to make a follow-up of who perpetuated this barbaric act that has no place in our society.
Yeah. Have the minibus taxi operators said what their issues are? What are they unhappy about?
Well, Clement, as I say, we met with the Gauteng taxi industry this morning. The Gauteng taxi industry, which is an umbrella body of all the taxi associations, including the Santaco as well as the GNTA, which is the Gauteng National Taxi Alliance, met with the department this morning. They condemned the act with the contempt it deserves. So this act of, it's an act of terror that the taxi industry is definitely condemning and is not taking ownership. But as I said, that we are not oblivious to the issues raised by the residents there who reside around the area, who have come forward to say that, this might be fueled by this or that. So that's why we are saying that confidently, currently we cannot confidently point to X or Y, but we have put the boots on the ground. We have a public transport inspectorate led by Commander Mdingane, who are ensuring that our people are safe, and we get to the bottom of people who taken out this act of terror.
Yeah, but previously when you've engaged with the taxi operators, what issues did they raise with you? I understand what you're doing now to engage all of these stakeholders. I would imagine that part of the solution here that you're looking at as the transport department is to integrate and modernize the public transport system. That's always been your plan as the provincial government. How far are you with that?
Well, we are at an advanced stage. You'd remember that in 2019, Clement, there was a commission that was, commissioned by the then Gauteng Premier, David Makura, that looked into taxi violence. And as part of the resolutions that were taken from that taxi commission is the establishment of alternative dispute resolution mechanism. So we can safely say, Clement, that the taxi industry, when it can engages government, it surely puts on the table government's role of taking center stage in as far as cohesion, social cohesion is concerned. They are equally raising issues about, the hitman element amongst them. They have come forward to government to say, can government intervene? Because in as far as they are concerned, this act of impunity is not perpetuated amongst their ranks. So part of also what they are raising with government, as you have said, is a question of transformation, is the question of also taking part in terms of the subsidy schemes of government, But over and above that, it is a collaborated effort that they want to forge together with government so that at the end of the day, the Gauteng resident is given a reliable, a safe, transport system. They want to be part of the integration. They want to be part of the value chain that government is making, is presenting to the industry of public, to the public sector. And those are part of the issues that they've been raising. But they've also said that they want to actually become part of a value chain that coexists within the eHailing, the bus service provider, and all other modes, including rail, by the way, and all other modes that are at the disposal of the commuter.
Yeah, but then, Lesiba, we can't talk about the need for the integration and the modernization of the public transport system forever. This is something that government has been talking about as far as I can remember. So what progress has there been when it comes to implementing some of the plans around this integration? Because, I mean, you look at that 2019 Gauteng Taxi Summit you mentioned, I'm trying to figure out what progress has been made in, for instance, rooting out this violence in the public transport sector, because that's why we've had these summits and bringing all the stakeholders together. So are we getting anywhere in terms of implementing the plans and the vision this government has always outlined?
You are quite right. From as far back as 2007, the RECAP program, government has been making, intentions known. But we can safely say that during one of our meetings, there was an acknowledgement that since the taxi summit or the taxi commission, there has been a very gradual and very slow process in terms of implementing the resolution. However, it was acknowledged that there has been strides in trying to set up the relevant stakeholder committees concerned in terms to implement that. There has been an intense initiative from government to actually roll out the integration. In terms of the implementation program, you would know that the Premier speaks of the taxi rank of the future, and if you go to the Vereeniging intermodal exchange, that has started to be implemented, and the taxi industry is very much part of that particular milestone. We are successor in law. We have just arrived in the department, but we don't want to shift the buck or pass the buck or anything. But we definitely can say, Clement, that there is a lot of milestone. There's a lot of a milestone that has been made in terms of moving, taking this thing off the ground.
Okay. What's the next step now? There is a meeting with the authorities this afternoon. What are your authorities communicating to the stakeholders involved?
One of the things that our stakeholders are communicating, we have that public transport inspectorate. We are not going to tolerate any act of lawlessness, and we are not going to flinch or, when it comes to, taking action against those who are responsible. At this present moment, we are engaging the stakeholders on the basis that we don't have any substantive proof that the act of, the barbaric act that has been done at Maponya Mall was perpetuated by industry X or Y. But this is their industry where they operate. And we have said that we've collated information from the community that leads us to a specific perspective. We have started with our preliminary investigations. And what we are communicating to the stakeholders is that we are not going to have a situation where the residents of Gauteng feel unsafe, and we are not going to hesitate in taking action and extreme action that will then impact both industries if at all we are not going to find any common ground of peace. But at this current moment, Clement, we are still engaging the stakeholders, and we must appreciate that we are trying to get to the bottom of the nexus as well as the motive of what happened late yesterday.
All right, Lesiba Mpya, Gauteng Transport Spokesperson, thank you for making time.